What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers have been decimated by injuries to start this season. Being overly cautious in a lot of ways as well, which I prefer. I'm okay. Talked about this. I'm okay with the Lakers being cautious, right? The Luka thing, there was kind of this debate going around the other day. And I even said, I think it is you want to try to get everyone healthy at once so you can start building the chemistry, get everyone right, and then make that push, and then obviously build that chemistry and that momentum getting into the playoffs so you can go on a deep run and try to win an NBA championship, right? We're not a team that is happy to just make the playoffs. We're not a team that's just happy to make the conference finals or whatever. You need guys to be healthy, right? And I'd rather guys miss a handful of games early on so they can play a majority of the season at the end, all of that, so on and so forth. But we need guys to be healthy. Right? Well, we're waiting around today because we play the Minnesota Timberwolves and then we follow that up with the Memphis Grizzlies. And the question was, is it basically the same five guys that we had in the previous game against the Blazers with Dalton Connect and Bronny James as like our two reserves? And then we're basically playing with the two-way guys, or are we going to get some guys back? Right? JJ Redick said he was optimistic and hopeful was the word he used. That he get Marcus Smart and Jackson Hayes back for this game. And we have an update. So, Marcus Smart is still out. So, no Marcus Smart for this game, which hurts. Right? Because one of the big problems that the Lakers had was when Austin Reeves went to the bench, they didn't really have any playmaking. They didn't have anybody that could really kind of get them into their actions. And you saw how just poor the offense was. So JJ Redick's going to really have to figure some stuff out, maybe lean into like a Nick Smith Jr. a little more. Bronny James, can he kind of, maybe play more of a playmaking duty rather than, but he's just so young and inexperienced. It's hard to really kind of lean into him. Not just that, but Marcus Smart, his plays, his ability to, hustle and impact the game in several ways, just making the winning plays like I talk about. But Marcus Smart is a guy that played 25 games over the last two seasons. He's the guy you got to be most cautious with, right? Because he's the guy that I've talked about. He's our Dorian Finney-Smith replacement. He's the guy that's going to make the impact, make the winning plays, regardless of the box score. That is going to be the difference in, an 82-game season, as well as particularly the playoffs. Because he's a guy that's not afraid of the moment, has been there, done that, been to conference finals, been to NBA finals. He's a guy that is very comfortable in that position. So you need Marcus Smart as healthy as possible because he's a guy that can really be game-changing, and especially with how tight the Western Conference is and how tight those playoff games were. I mean, you look at, the Minnesota series or even the Denver series. Those games were decided by just a few key plays here and there. You get somebody like Marcus Smart who can be that difference maker. You start rattling off some of those wins, things start going your way, all of a sudden you look up. So I'm okay with Marcus Smart, them kind of continuing to be cautious with him. Don't rush him back. Let him work his way back. But we do get Jackson Hayes back. So no Marcus Smart. Everybody else that's out is still out. Dude Thero, Max Kleba, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, right? Everybody, Gabe Vincent, right? And then Marcus Smart. So you still have 7 guys that are out that aren't going to play for the Lakers. And then, now you get back Jackson Hayes, which Jackson Hayes is good, right? Because, again, gives you just another big man. Last thing you want is because you're playing DeAndre Ayton, pretty heavy minutes. And, again, he's a guy that hasn't really been, super healthy the last few seasons. So if you can bring in a guy like a Jackson Hayes to kind of, alleviate DeAndre Ayton at times and kind of take the pressure off of him. Also, Jackson Hayes, you can maybe even try some Hayes with, Ayton, especially with Ayton defending out on the perimeter so much in the Lakers defense. Maybe you can kind of do some multi-big things. But you're also playing a team in the Minnesota Timberwolves who don't have Anthony Edwards. So I do think that gives us a good chance, right? If we were in LA, I'd feel even better and feel like we have an even better chance. But nonetheless, right, this is a game that I think is winnable. Now, would I bet on it? No. Right? Would I count on them to win this? No. Because the Lakers are still they still lack the playmaking ability outside of Austin Reeves, which I think is hurtful. If we would have got, if we got Marcus Smart and not Jackson Hayes, say it was the opposite, right? Jackson Hayes was still out, but Marcus Smart was coming back, I'd actually be more confident the Lakers win this game, because now when Austin Reeves goes to the bench, now Marcus Smart can at least come in and be that guy that can make plays. Because remember, he's a point guard at Oklahoma State, Boston, all of that. So he's a guy that can make plays, initiate, get you in your offense, right? Handle the basketball a little bit. So in a perfect world, he would have been the guy that was back and healthy, but he's not, right? So JJ Redick's going to have to figure some stuff out. He's going to have to experiment with some things. Trust guys like Bronny James, Nick Smith Jr., guys like that a little more, maybe a Chris Menon. Just kind of let them at least initiate your offense. Guys, just look, they have to play better. It's that simple, right? Like, outside of Jared Vanderbilt and Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton has to play better. Rui Hachimura has to play better. Jake LaRavia definitely needs to start finding his stroke. Dalton Connect, can he kind of wake up a little bit? Right? Like, we need guys to continue to kind of figure some stuff out here, right? Like, that's part of what's beneficial with all these guys being out, is that you have kind of the guys that are available and healthy. They get the opportunity to play bigger minutes. They get the opportunity to play a bigger role, that get some confidence, can find their kind of swagger a little bit, find their shooting touch and whatnot, right? Like Jake LaRavia, defensively, he's been great for the Lakers. Look at what he did against Jimmy Butler. Look at what he did against Anthony Edwards in that first matchup. Offensively, shooting the basketball has kind of been a little inconsistent. He's got to find his offense of consistency. It's something that he really needs. But defensively, I thought he's been good. He's still impacting the game in other ways, which is good. He's giving you about 6 rebounds, a handful of assists. So he's still making plays and doing things. Just needs to find that offensive approach. Rui Hachimura, he's got to do a better job on the defense side of things. I know he's not a defensive guy. I know he's, but he can't just be getting blown. It looks like he's stuck in concrete at times. Offensively, he's shooting and playing well, but he needs rebound the ball better. He needs to defend better, right? No one's expecting him to all of a sudden become Jared Vanderbilt defensively, right? But you got to at least not get blown by every single possession. DeAndre Ayton, he's got to maintain and be more physical out there, better shot selection, right? Grinding, working, playing hard. He's doing a lot. Don't get me wrong. DeAndre Ayton has been good. He's been very good. Right? He's been defending out on the perimeter, defending and protecting the rim. He's somebody that has, been making plays and shown the array of offense. But you saw like the Minnesota game and then follow that up with the Sacramento game. He just looked very different in those games compared to that Portland Trailblazers game. So he needs to pick it up. And then Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect has to figure out how to get his shot going. This is such a huge opportunity for him. And I know he's probably thinking what we're all thinking, which is like, as soon as he starts lighting it up, he's probably getting traded again. But you got to do it, right? Like, for his sake, he's got to figure it out. So Lakers are going to have to kind of work and play through some things. I wish we would have gotten a better injury report. I wish we would have gotten like, Marcus Smart and Gabe Vincent back and Jackson Hayes or something like that, or at least Marcus Smart and Jackson Hayes back, which would have given you just another ball handler and then another kind of backup big that, could help and spell DeAndre Ayton for a little bit and whatnot. But now you only got one of those. And so luckily, look, we've seen Jackson Hayes be able to hold it down for the Lakers. So can he kind of figure some stuff out, come back, give us some energy, give us some effort, right? Can he be tonight, 10 and 6, something like that, grab a couple boards, have a couple lobs, maybe a couple putbacks, give me a poster to kind of just add a spark, add some fire into this Lakers team. But for the most part, it's going to come down to Austin Reeves dropping 40, right? And praying 2 other guys step up. Right, whether that's DeAndre Ayton and Rui, or DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia, or Rui and Jake LaRavia, or Dalton Connect. Somebody else has to take this purse. Somebody else has to go, you know what? I got this, right? Like, Austin, you do your thing. Go get 40, go do whatever. I got us tonight. I'm going to go give you, 25 or something like that. We need somebody else to take the challenge, to accept that challenge, to come in and play that role for us. We're dealing with injuries. It sucks, but hey, that's the name of the game, right? There are a lot of teams that are dealing with injuries. Minnesota right now, they're missing their best player, right? Which is also why I think this game is very winnable, right? Like, yeah, they're not missing two of their best players like we are, plus 5 other guys. I mean, for the most part, they're pretty healthy outside of Anthony Edwards. But still, I do think without Anthony Edwards, this game is a very winnable game. I do think that this is a game that the Lakers can come out, and I don't think anyone should be surprised if they win this game. Again, I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't count on it. It's not something that I'll be running to the book to place a bet on, but it is something that I do think is very possible to see the Lakers kind of walk out with this win. If they were in LA, I'd be a lot more confident. Or if we had Marcus Smart back, I'd be a lot more confident. But no Marcus Smart. The issue is, again, you don't have playmakers. You don't have ball handlers, which is why I've said in the past, you have to have playmakers. You have to have guys that can initiate the offense. You have to have guys that can handle the basketball, get you into your actions. Right? Like you've seen teams over the years, like, Toronto, try to run a unit out there with a bunch of 6'7" guys. Like you can do that if you have a Luka. You can do that if you have a LeBron. Can't do that if you don't, right? Like have a bunch of 6'7". You need somebody that can be and initiate and run your offense. You need somebody that can make those plays and break down defenses and all of that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.